Hi, it's David Tracy with the Autopian. Today isn't Monday. It's not Wednesday either. It is Trade-In Tuesday. Look at this. I got GoPros. I'm ready to film something. What are we filming today? Come around the corner. We are filming America's favorite small truck. I think that's universally agreed upon. Some of you might say, well, what about the Nissan Hardbody or the Toyota Tacoma or whatever? No. Behold, an actual small truck. These don't exist anymore. America decided small trucks are whack. I don't know why. We loved them for so long. And in Southern California, these small truck culture here was crazy. You should look up dancing beds when you get a chance. They used to modify the beds on small trucks to dance. It's the craziest shit you've ever heard. This is the final American small truck. This is actually a 2010. If you look at the current Ranger, it looks like it's a different machine, completely different animal. Anyway, let's do a little walk around. This is traded into Galpin Honda. You can see a bunch of Hondas around. Look at this. Would you like a new Honda Civic? You should buy it from Galpin. And that was a pretty bad plug. But anyway, let's look at this Ford Ranger. You could get a 6-cylinder, or you could get, I think you could get a 3-liter 6-cylinder, a 4-liter 6-cylinder, and then a 2.3-liter inline 4. The base trucks like this, without fog lights or anything, let's be real, this would be a 4-banger. And if it's an automatic, oh God, this thing is gonna be lethargic. Anyway, I'm gonna pull it out if it runs, and we'll have a closer look. Think it'll run? Think it'll run?
I think it'll run. It's here.
You're right, you had to get it here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a trade-in pushed in. It doesn't happen. So I've tried turning the key to the left, and that doesn't do it. I've tried turning the key to the right, and that doesn't do it. Is there another direction besides counterclockwise and clockwise that I'm not? Do I need to actually like shove it in, or what's going on here?
I think you got to force it.
Oh. There it is. There it is. Okay. I mean, it seems like a pretty good truck. Runs pretty well. Little tick, but sounds actually pretty healthy. Transmission at least shifts into drive. The brakes seem really tight. The steering is good, and because it's a California truck, it looks pretty solid. Yep, 4-cylinder, 2.3-liter. Nothing wrong with that. This is a work truck. Okay, a work truck. The formula for a work truck is simple. Go to a dealership, you get the cheapest truck you can get. All you need is a bed. That's what you're buying. You're buying a bed that can move. It is basically it's like a dumpster that you can move around. You can put shit in it. That's all you need. No frills. Vinyl seats, bench seats. They went for the automatic, so look at this brand new battery and brand new terminals. I think we're gonna have a solid trade-in Tuesday. This is America's favorite truck for a reason. These things are just workhorses. And this one, I mean, clearly maintained. They put a new battery and leads in it. Runs great. We might have a drama-free trade-in Tuesday. I know I'm not supposed to jinx it or whatever, but I'm just saying. But this truck is actually more technically interesting than most people give it credit for. The Ford Ranger has some of the strangest front suspension designs, especially compared to anything modern. You know, look at this truck right here. It's this truck, that truck. They all have the same basic front suspension design. Double wishbone front independent suspension, coil sprung, maybe an airbag in there. And I guess the air spring is interesting or whatever. But Ford Rangers, the early ones, had these things called twin traction beams. They're like these crazy long arms that go across. So like, basically you'd have an arm that would start here, and it would reach all the way over to the knuckle over here. And then you have another arm that would start here, and it would reach over there. So you have these gigantic long arms that allow for tons of suspension movement. It led to some alignment difficulties from what I've read on forums, but great for desert racing. This generation, so that was the early generation. This generation, which came out in I think 92, early 90s, second generation Ranger, has a, check it out. This particular truck allowed you to get a lift kit for $0. You could lift this vehicle for free. Check it out. you'll notice, if you look in, right in here, where's the spring? What the hell's holding the damn truck up? There's nothing there. The answer is that there's actually a torsion bar. And I'll get under here and actually this one's a coil sprung truck.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
All right, well, my point is moot here. But some of these trucks came with a torsion bar, which is literally just a metal bar that twists, and that acts as a spring. So as the control arm moves, it twists this rod, and that acts as a spring. And on some of these, you could get a free lift kit. All you would do is you crank the bar, the torsion bar, and that would raise the body, and then you put a block under the rear leaf spring, boom, free lift kit. This one doesn't have it. Kind of a pointless little exercise just there, but hey, let's move on. We have a bed that I think is a 6-foot bed. We have a over 6-foot cameraman here, Griffin, who's gonna prove. It's kind of dirty in there, but if you're willing to make the sacrifice, Griffin, hop on in. Is it a 6-foot bed? Let's see. I think you go feet that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna go feet first.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, feet flat. You're 6'2". Yeah, that's a 6-foot bed right there.
6 feet.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
That's usable. Let's hit it.
Let's do it.
The cab is a little small. Griffin's got a backpack there, and it's tight. This truck, this is my point about the Ford Ranger. Okay, 172,000 miles. It's from 2010, so it's 14 years old. And this thing was beat on. That 6-foot bed has been filled with anvils pretty much for the last who knows how long. And it's still, you got AC running, you got power brakes, power steering. It's great. This is going to be a drama-free trade-in Tuesday. As soon as I saw the battery leads, you have to understand, people who don't take care of their cars, they don't replace battery cables. They just replace batteries, and then they just jimmy the cable until it works. Yeah, okay, so column shift, we can agree, is the best shifter in existence, right? Floor shift was created for sports cars. In the early days, in the early automobile days, pretty much in the 20s, especially the 30s and 40s, pretty much everything sort of converged to the column shift. It was the best answer. And then, for whatever reason, people wanted to get sporty. They thought, well, column shifts are not sporty at all. So they moved their column shifts to the floor. Especially when 4-speed transmissions came out, the whole world changed to floor shift. The problem with a floor shifter, it's just a waste of space. The steering column is one of the most underutilized parts of a car. You do nothing with this area. It's completely unused. So why not just put the shifter here? This is a fantastic shifter, and I think honestly all shifters should be on the column. That's a hot take. Maybe not, Griffin, maybe not your Corvette.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe not the Corvette. Column shift, trucky, love it. Bench seat, trucky, love it. You know what else is trucky? Okay, 6-foot bed, that's trucky. Vinyl floors, baby. Look at this. None of this carpet stuff. Come on, where are we in the Taj Mahal? We don't need that shit. We need vinyl floors. That way if if my dog vomits, I just spray it down with a hose. That's what a work truck is all about. This work truck has undoubtedly been beaten on by its previous owner. Used for heavy labor. And yet, whoever this guy or girl was, maintained it. It's obvious. As soon as I looked under the hood and I saw those new battery cables, I knew whoever owned this thing knew how to handle a wrench. And it shows when I drive this thing. Brakes work great, steering works great. I have to say that little 2.3 liter, it's a smooth little motor, and it doesn't feel slow in town either. Yeah, no, it's totally fine. We gotta take it on the freeway and see what's up, because that's a little motor. Okay, here's the new Ranger. All right, I'm gonna flip up, as they say in California, flip up. Beep. I'm not gonna say it. What did they do with my boy? They killed him and they replaced him with a monster. Look at this abomination. That's a real Ford Ranger. That's a small truck. That is what the Ford Ranger is meant to be. You're supposed to have a Ford F-150, and then you have the Ford Ranger. You're working your way up to the F-150, but you got the little Ranger. You get a couple promotions, and then you get your F-150. This is the size of an old F-150. It's completely morphed from a small truck into a big truck. Anyway, I think it's an abomination personally because I love small trucks. They're easy, great to maneuver. They're still tough as hell. They're just not necessarily inefficient. That engine in this thing, really advanced. Put that in a small truck like this, you're sipping fuel. Anyway, let's get out of here. So this one is blowing cubes at this point. Just thought I'd update everyone. The air conditioning on this traded-in work truck works fantastically. I'm actually loving driving this. This would be an amazing if you got this thing for like $3,000 for this truck's a great deal. $3,000 after inflation, like you can barely buy like a freaking. What can't you? I mean, you can't buy a whole lot for $3,000 these days. I mean, really. Holy shit! Look at that old Porsche. Let's follow that.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna follow a Porsche. It has nothing to do with this truck. Look at that thing. Holy smokes! Beverly Hills Car Club. Oh, we get a great look at this. Oh my goodness. Is that a Speedster? I think that's a Porsche Speedster. I think that's the car the instructor drove in Top Gun. You remember? Remember the convertible?
Man, I only saw the first one once. I'm too young.
Cameraman here, by the way, is like 23 years old.
Oh, it's not that. I'm 26. Come on.
20. Well, he still says things like say less and yeet. You say yeet?
Yeet went out of style a good while ago.
Wow. Okay, we're done here. I am glad that you used the term word because that's one of my go-tos and makes me feel less old that you're saying it. We're going to do a little acceleration run. This is a trade-in. We don't want to damage anyone's vehicle, but let's at least get a little taste of what that 4-pot. It's warmed up, so let's see what it's got. 4-speed slush box. Oh, look at that. That's my point. Look at that. Red Ford Ranger work truck. That one doesn't have a bunch of the bed, but you see the rack? There's a rack on it. These things are all around LA. This is just the classic work truck. There we go. That's pedal to the metal, by the way. Oh my lord. Holy smokes, it's slow. It is insanely slow. Actually, you know what? It sounds like a damn, like there's like a sewing machine maybe. It sounds too alarming for me to even keep. I'm not going down that road anymore. I'm letting off. The point is, this truck is slow as hell. It's not supposed to be fast. Honestly, even trying to accelerate quickly in this thing, it feels like you're like torturing like an animal or something. It just doesn't want it. Okay, I bet you on this drive through this neighborhood, we're gonna see at least a couple of Ford Ranger work trucks.
Look at that.
What the? Time out. Again, this has nothing to do with this Ford Ranger, but we have to stop. Trust me. What did I just see?
That was like Mad Max. Did it have 3 grills on
What?
it? What is that?
I don't actually know what's happened.
You think that's the owner who was just walking out?
Oh, is he just walking out?
I just saw a guy walking out. He looked like a normal person.
Let's go for it. I'm here with Leonard, who's about to show us his incredible Chevy pickup truck.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Leonard, what exactly? You mind if we just walk around the front here?
Sure.
We gotta show the whole thing before we get talking. I've never seen anything like it. I assume you get a lot of attention for this thing, right?
A little bit, not too well. I guess a lot, yeah.
So is this a grill? Is this a grill on top of a grill?
So this is all metal scrap that I pick up from, like, you know, the area I live in. It's just metal that I just kind of go and recycle here and there. So I just do it for the end of the year, just to get some money to do my little parades, you know, for Christmas and Halloween. Right now it's I guess a little theme of Mad Max kind of thing. But everything you see there is just scrap from the streets. You can see right now that's the washing machine, the horns.
Wait, hold on. These are from a washing machine from
Yes.
the barrel?
That's the washing machine.
And you just sort of cut it and
Yeah, just kind of lined it up and all that. That's from a dryer, the top area over here. That's a dryer. Just did a little cuts there. Put some lights underneath. So in the nighttime, it's this like Tron truck. It lights up. All you see is just this big thing coming out with just this red lined up shape.
So is this a red LED here?
Yes.
This whole
yes,
thing.
All that.
LED
all that.
strip.
Yeah, and then it has lights underneath by where the tires are. That whole part in the top, the rib cage, it lights up as well. And also all the way to the racks. You see those spikes? So that's the metal fence from my job where we had a trailer that just crashed into our company.
Oh, so this is a fence and
That's the fence. Yeah. It gets speed up. I mean, two trucks to me are just to just work, and you know, if it gets scratched up, each scratch has a story to tell, I suppose. But yeah, it's something that I do once a year. It's Nightmare Before Christmas truck, I suppose. So I weld a slate from the back that sticks out 6 feet out, and then on the top you'll see Jack, Sally, and then Santa as well.
Yeah.
And with the whole theme, you know, all the other characters as well. Everything lights up in the night. So it's something I started doing maybe like 3 years ago. So it's pretty neat. It's just giving back to the community, and then I go out and then just kind of take little gifts to like certain neighborhoods, you know, that are a little bit in more need than others.
That was a heck of a talk with Leonard about that truck. The problem is we can't top anything at this point. With this truck, there's nothing I can do with this Ranger, short of, well, nothing legal I can do with this Ranger to make it even remotely a quarter as interesting as that. And so, whoa, that thing is clean. Oh, that was an old, hold on,
Yeah, that was
OG
an old
Ranger.
Ranger.
Oh, look at that. Hot damn. That's a fantastic truck. Debuted in 1983. In the 1990s, cars became rounder, you know, pretty much across the board. And so this was a natural progression from this old Ranger. But they're both the same size. It didn't, if anything, it almost looks like it might be a little bit shorter in some areas. Lengthwise, they're this, I mean, how about that? From 1983 to 2011, the Ford Ranger didn't grow in size appreciably. That is unheard of. Everything gets so big nowadays. Everything's so dang big. But from 83 to 2011, still a small truck. You gotta appreciate that. I mean, this thing's comfortable. With the AC going, it's not that bad. But these Trade-In Tuesdays, they're risky. You could be out here on a 100-degree day with no AC and a freaking blown exhaust, nasty interior. You never know. I think the only rule for a trade-in is it must drive in on its own power. This truck right here is an excellent work truck. It's got a basic engine. You can get these 4-cylinder parts anywhere. Go to any junkyard. You can get anything. If you need an ignition coil, whatever, just go get one. Parts availability is crazy. It's so easy to work on. It's got enough power, definitely for around town. You've got enough bed length. You've got, you know, you've got a bench seat, vinyl floors. This is all just tough. Look at this. Rock hard plastic, which, you know, on a Lexus would not be good. On a work truck, look at how well it's worn. Like, it looks good. The dash on this thing is actually holding up, which in the California sun is something that does not actually happen. Honestly, the seats, a little bit of cracking here, but overall, the cabin's, you know, it's been holding up great. You could put this thing into service right now. This is a great trade-in. I think someone maybe got promoted, or maybe they were just like, you know what, I just want another. They definitely didn't need to turn this thing in. Its body is rock solid. The brakes are good, the steering's good, the engine feels great. You could put this thing to work right now and it would do great. It actually left the American market in 2011, so this is the second to last year. And then it came back, I don't remember when it came back, but it was at least 2017, I think. So it was at least 5 or 6 years where there was no Ranger. And they basically just ceded the entire small truck segment to Toyota, which is a shame because this truck was fantastic and it had such a following. They were known to rust out really bad in the rust belts, specifically right around the rear leaf spring perches, and they were then known by their drivers as Ranger Danger. That's an old Ford. And it is worth noting that the Ranger name actually started way back, I think in the 50s, but it didn't become its own model until the 83 model year. And that was a boxy Ranger. This one, second gen from the early 90s, really got rounded, and they kept it around from the early 90s until 2011. Oh, look at that. Hey, yo, was I lying? Was I lying? No, I was not lying. This is what I'm talking about. This is what these Rangers do here in LA and other places where they don't rust out. Let me just get a little close up of this thing. That is what I'm talking about. Look at it, towing a big trailer, hauling a bunch of stuff on the roof, bunch of stuff in the bed. That is what these Ford Rangers are known for. They are stout, they are beefy, they get it done. They get it done. If there's anything that America appreciates, it's hard work. And for that reason, you have to appreciate the Ford Ranger. All right, we're gonna conclude this review of the 2010 Ford Ranger. The round second-gen Ranger, the beloved workhorse, the small, the nimble, the reliable, the trusty, the Ford Ranger. The Ford Ranger. If the Ford Ranger were a person, the Ford Ranger would be your best friend. It is reliable. When it says it's going to do something, it does it. And whenever it fails, you can make little tweaks and it can... Okay, we got to move this thing. You know why it can fit? Because the Ford Ranger is tiny. That's the beauty of it. It's nimble, it's small, still usable, but it's not excessive. Look, it's not flashy. You look at the new Ford Ranger. We had a peek at the Ford Ranger on the street. It is big and imposing, and it's a tough truck. not what this is. It's not even trying to look aggressive. Look at this. That's a friendly face. There's nothing about this thing that's tough. It's not about looks. It's about just getting it done. That's this Ford Ranger in a nutshell. It's not just flexing. It does it. It gets the job done. And if something happens, go to the junkyard, go to the car parts store, spend a couple bucks, and boom, it's back on the job. This is the hardest working, most reliable, most lovable little truck America has ever made. And now I'm just gonna go back it into a parking spot that seems way too small for any car, but not for the Ford Ranger.